Yes, have a question?
I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Would you speak about the energy passing from below the navel through the sex to the base of the spine?
My X-rated talk. Look, I talked about this a lot. I've written about it a lot in some of my books. Uh, Look, in Kathmandu, there's a temple called Pashupatinath. It's a Shaivite temple, very sacred place. In fact, in parts of the temple, if you're not, Hindu, they won't even let you go in. But there's a whole, series of statues there that are totally remarkable. And they were carved probably in the 6th century, 5th, 6th century, way back, in early Nepalese art. And a bull with a lingam and a yoni and a cobra coming up. And you look at this thing and most people probably just wonder, what is this all about? Well, these people that created this really understood Tantra, because what they created was the bull that Shiva rode on is the energy of chi, the power in the chakra below the navel. That energy enables the male principle to unify with the female principle, the lingam and the yoni, in the sexual area. That union of those two energies gives birth to Kundalini. Now, this might sound like fantasy to some of you. It might sound like, something I've made up or my interpretation, but I don't think so. I think this is exactly what happens to a human being that practices Kundalini yoga. The energy moves through the sexual area, and the energy, there's a union, because nobody's going to be enlightened or even find higher levels of their own humanity if they can't find the male female principle in themselves. And that's what these people in the 6th century were talking about. We have to find the male female principle in ourselves. That energy manifests when energy moves through this, when the Shakti moves from the third chakra, the chakra below the navel, through the sex to the base of the spine. It manifests in the sexual area. That's the area of rebirth. And what we're doing is we're giving birth to ourselves. And that takes place in it. We give birth to the rest of the planet in sexual energy. In the sexual area, we also give birth to ourselves. Probably the highest principle of Tantra, and something that anyone who practices, a kind of meditation we practice, will one day go through and experience. Now, when I was in Pashupatinath, I was shocked to see this. And I was what really shocked me, that back in the 6th century, they understood more about how Shakti flows inside people than people do today, where we have such supposedly advanced culture. So that's how energy flows through the sexual area. Sexual energy is one of the most powerful energies in a human being. It creates mayhem in the world. It creates the world, you know, and at the same time, it gives birth to each and every human being on their voyage to God. It's kind of like an immaculate conception. the child of God lives inside every single one of us. But we have to learn how to give birth to ourselves. Amazing, how simple this whole thing is. And yet people make it so, lack of consciousness make it so complicated. Not sure that's clear, but I hope it is.
Stuart, I have a question about this.
This one.
Um, I've been hearing these explanations for a long time, and it's still, my brain is still absorbing. It's still in a metaphorical realm, and I haven't made that leap yet. How this transpires.
Well, Bob, I'm waiting for you on the other side of the screen. You have to make the leap. That's in you. Stop trying to analyze these things. Stop trying to figure them out. Stop trying to give them some rational, logistical purpose. Just do it. Like those Nike sneakers, just do it, for God's sake. That is the void. You understand? One has to cross that void from metaphorical understanding, rational, philosophical, theological understanding, to a living principle that one experiences in their day-to-day life. Now, nobody's two people are going to experience this in exactly the same way. But each in their own unique way will experience it. The union of the male-female principle. And I don't care if you're straight, you're gay, you're bi, you're schmi, you're whatever, people are today, trans, and, I'm not interested. The male-female principle has to be unified inside every human being who really ultimately is going to attain a state of enlightenment. I mean, it's even in the Christian faith, the earliest, the Annunciation, the Immaculate Conception, all this stuff is what I'm talking about. Except they put it in images and in words and in, metaphors and religious belief. But it's all about union and giving birth to the child of God that lives inside each and every human being.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about what that we're giving birth to has needs during its prenatal stages?
Well, right now you're in the prenatal stage, Derek. You're working towards giving birth to yourself on a higher level. And there's nothing wrong with that because we're all in that stage. Even people that have finally got across the stream, we're always in the stage of every day giving birth to ourselves, every day learning to live in the moment, every day learning that we're all children of God. And the only thing that's missing is our consciousness. And we have to work on ourselves every day in order to constantly cross that stream and give birth to ourselves. So there's nothing wrong with being in the prenatal state. I mean, it just reminds you haven't arrived yet. And that's a very good thing to be reminded of every day. I haven't arrived yet. I have work to do on myself. That's how you get enlightened. Instead of being, feeling, upset about it and distraught about it. Well, I haven't arrived. I'm not perfect yet. You should relish the fact that you are not perfect yet, that you live in a prenatal state, and that you have to find means of working in yourself to unify, Jehovah and Shekhinah, God and Mary, and, the Immaculate Conception that truly takes place in every human being and makes it possible for people to be conscious, and become enlightened human beings, become one with God. So there's nothing wrong with that. Nobody should feel, anybody who walks around and believes they're perfect is really in a lot of trouble. I mean, they're really in a lot of trouble. And a lot of people, they have to be perfect, or they just beat themselves up, or they get angry at you if you point out an imperfection. They get pissed off at you if hey, you got something wrong with you. Yeah, they should say, thank you. You're telling me what I have to work on in myself. But it makes life sacred. What's right makes life sacred, and what's wrong makes life sacred. Everything is one's teacher.
Mm.
And we need to learn how to use life that way as a teacher that tells us what we need to do to grow, to get to a state inside ourselves where we really can give birth to the child of God. And that is us, each and every human being reaching out to become one with higher energy in the universe.
Stuart, what do you mean when you say give birth to yourself?
You want me to define my principles? I mean, look, Bob, I don't, what do I mean? Look, most people live in a terribly unconscious state. They really do. People, I mean, they chase money, they chase sex, they chase everything in life, and they think that is the answer. It's how people live their whole lives. When you give birth to yourself, you're giving birth to somebody who truly is becoming spiritually enlightened,
Mm.
is becoming one with higher energy in the universe. And you're leaving all of that crap in the past. It doesn't mean you don't enjoy life, but life, money, sex, power, whatever, is not God. That's the demands of Caesar. And God has other demands, give gratitude, give love, you know. So what do I mean? I don't know what I mean, Bob, except it's a living principle of getting free of yourself so that you can be one with God. And that's all that this meditation is about. Meditation, as I say a million times, is not a religion, it's not a cult, it's getting, it's a craft that you learn that helps you to get free of yourself. So you can really give birth to this child inside you that truly is connected to God, one with God, higher energy in the universe.
Mm.
Not a bad idea.
I have an easy question.
That was an easy question. Give me a hard one. No, I'm sorry, Bob. What's the question?
I'm working differently during at home when I'm at home during a retreat. I'm working differently. Can you talk about that as far as making that a connection from afar?
Well, sit down and do your inner work. You'll connect with what's going on in the retreat. I suggest it. I always tell people do that. A better idea is put together your life so you can attend the retreat. That's a much better idea. There's going to be a treat in August, Stuart's birthday. It's always probably one of the most powerful days of the year in that retreat. I let me put my life together. I'm not asking a fortune of money to people to come. It helps me pay the rent, basically. And put your life together instead of, well, I can't do it. It's so expensive. It's just bullshit. Like Rudy said, buy that building. Rudy, I got $600 to my name. Anyone can do it with money. I mean, that was one of the greatest things he ever taught me. When you need something, you can do it. You can truly work on yourself and get the energy to make it happen. And that's what I would suggest. And if you're not up to making it happen, then sit down at home when the time we're having classes and work on yourself and try to connect with what's going on. I mean, somebody really touched me about a week ago. They sent me money for the retreat. And they also sent a letter with the money saying, I can't travel now, but I'm so grateful for your teachings. I want to send you money for the retreat. I mean, I was so touched by that. It was so beautiful. Somebody saying, thank you, unconditionally. I can't travel, I can't come, but I want to send you. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but it's whatever it is, out of my heart, out of gratitude. Really extraordinary. It really brought a tear to my eye. And I hope next retreat that person can travel, and come and get the full benefits. In fact, they could use the money that they sent me for the next retreat. Not. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you. God bless you all. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for dragging all this stuff out of me. Because as I tell you all the time, I listen also to this. There's not me talking. And I listen to all this stuff, and it really helps me to grow in my life. And without you, this stuff would come. So I have nothing but gratitude to every person sitting tonight. Thank you. The next class will be on Monday. I'm looking forward to seeing people. Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
Well,
Thank you, Stuart.
good night.
Thank you, Stuart.